Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trip Tales, the show where we talk about your Disney vacations. My name is Jamie Lee, and this is episode number 38. As always, I want to say welcome to the show if you're a newbie and you're not sure what the show is about. It's basically a trip report show. I choose a guest for every episode, and they come on, they talk about their trip in pretty much chronological detail, and we kind of go over things like restaurants and hotels and special events and crowds and weather and everything in between. So we have increased our show release schedule to 2 times a month. So every other week is when we're going to release a new episode for Trip Tales. It was a month, once a month, but I did increase that just because the demand is so high for guests on the show, and I was like, well, if I'm trying to get everybody in, I'm gonna have to increase my number of episodes I do every year. So that's why I did that. And as always, if you are wanting to be a guest on the show, please go to ctmtriptales.com and click on Be on Trip Tales or Be on the Show. I can't remember what it's called, but Be on Trip Tales, and then fill out the information and it will come straight to me. And some things to remember if you are going to submit that is that if you do have anything extra booked, like a fireworks cruise, dessert party, VIP tour, private dining, whatever it is, please include that in your form, and it lets me know more of what's going on in your trip, and it helps me decide better on who I am going to select to be on the show. So keep that in mind if you're going to want to sign up to be on the show. I've got that, and then I'm still choosing my December guests. I have not gotten that far yet. Yeah, if you again are looking to be on the show December and beyond, please go to ctmtriptales.com and sign up. And we will be taking a little bit of a hiatus at the end of December. I may only have 1 Trip Tales in December. I might do a second one depending on how busy the season is and if I'm able to fit it in the schedule, just because we've got a lot going on. But I will definitely do 2 in January and beyond. So just wanted to let you guys know what's going on with that, with the holidays and everything. And as always, I have some housekeeping. I just want to mention some of the other shows on the network. We got Capture the Magic podcast, the main one. That's on Thursdays with Jared and I. We've got CTM Universal. That is once a month with Jared and I, usually on Mondays. We've got Distery. That's our Club 32 exclusive podcast we do, where we take a topic, an attraction, a land, whatever about Disney, and do a past, present, and future on it. Just kind of like a deep dive. And besides Distery on Club 32, we've got special discounts. We've got special shirt releases, special access to Trip Tales. You get a week early on Club 32, so that's awesome. There's also in-park live streams. We do live streams from our house. We do Cool Kids Kitchen once a month. We do Jared's Speakeasy once a month. He also occasionally will release a rant corner on the private podcast feed. So there's a lot of cool things that are going on in Club 32 and some awesome people that you can meet as well. So if you'd like to sign up, you can go to ctmvip.com. You can sign up for a monthly, or you can do a yearly. And if you do a yearly, you get a free t-shirt. So that's pretty cool. But if you do a monthly, you can do that. And you can also do a free trial for the monthly. So lots of options for you. And I also want to mention, besides the housekeeping stuff, is, check out our wonderful, awesome sponsor, Zippity-Doo-Dah Travel. Let's see, it'll be almost 2 years that we'll be with them now. And we honestly, they help us out so much. I don't know how many times I've contacted my agent, Lauren, who books everything for us, and she makes it so much easier. And they're just wonderful people to work with, great agents, very responsive, and they'll work with you, get your vacation needs met. They'll guide you through everything, especially all the new Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, etc. stuff that is brand new. They know all about that. So if you do have a trip coming up or you're wanting to get started on planning a trip, please contact them. You can do travelwithzip.com. That's right. That's travelwithzip.com. I'll say that a little clearer. And it'll be in the show notes if you want to take a look at that as well. But go to travelwithzip.com and you'll fill out some information. You'll be paired up with an agent and they can get you started on planning your trip. So again, they're wonderful people. So, give them a try, wouldn't you? Okay, I think that's it for housekeeping today. Let's get on with the show, shall we? I am talking with Ashley today. She did a couples only trip with her husband. They just did a 3-night stay, 3-night stay during the 50th anniversary celebration. And here is her interview. All right, well, let's get started with my guest today. Her name is Ashley. Welcome to Trip Tales, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I kind of had to stalk you to make sure you got my application or submission rather on the website to see if I could be on, because these Trip Tales and Club 32 and the Facebook groups are so helpful to me, even as like a frequent Disney goer and someone I would consider myself like I know a lot about Disney. Your podcast and the Facebook groups are always like teaching me things. So I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Well, I'm so glad they can help you. That's why we do it. Yeah. So, tell me about your trip. Give me one word, how you describe your trip.
Okay. So I know this isn't one word, but it's a phrase. And I would say that it was once in a lifetime.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe I should change it to phrase from now on.
Okay.
Well, that's wonderful. All right. Well, let's start with some general details. So, what were the dates of your trip?
Sure. So we left on Sunday, October 3rd, and returned home really, really late on Wednesday, October 6th.
Okay. And who traveled with you?
So for this trip, it was just my husband and I. We have 2 children who stayed home with grandma for this trip. So we took a couple's trip to celebrate our anniversary.
Oh, nice. And Disney, of course, the 50th.
Yes, I know. I was like, well, we got to go. Come on.
And where did you guys stay?
So we stayed at Disney's Caribbean Beach.
Okay, Caribbean Beach. And what kind of tickets do you have or did you have?
So we got a 3-day park hopper.
Okay. And did you visit all 4 parks while you were there?
We did.
Okay. All right. Cool. And besides dining, some of the ADRs that you had, what other special events, if any, did you participate in or extra activities?
Yeah, so we did a treats and seats fireworks dessert party one of our nights at Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And that was pretty fun.
Yes.
Well, we'll hear all about it. That's good. Okay, so that's all the details we want to start with to begin with. So let's go chronologically from the beginning, and we're going to go all the way to, what was it? Sunday the 3rd.
Yeah.
And okay, so tell me, how did you get to Florida?
Sure. So we live outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So we flew out of Cleveland Airport into Orlando Airport. Our flight left here at about 8:30 a.m. and it's just about a 2-hour flight to Orlando. So we landed around 10:45 in the morning.
Okay. And did you guys use Magical Express?
Yes, we did. Bittersweet, because I think we probably won't be going to Disney anymore the rest of this year. So I think it was probably our last Magical Express ride, which was bittersweet.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's so sad. It's like
it's
coming to an end.
I know. And I know they'll still offer something similar, but I was like, are they still going to have this cheesy video?
I know. It's not the same. It's not as magical.
Not. You're right.
So after Magical Express and getting to your hotel, and did that work all well? And did you get there okay?
Yeah, it worked out fine.
Okay.
Like at first glance of coming off those elevators, it was a very long line.
Mm-hmm.
Like if anyone listening is familiar, when you get off those elevators, you're going to see all of like the car rental companies.
Mm-hmm.
It like wrapped all the way past those and then back around. So it was really long, and we were like, oh, all right, well, we'll be here for a bit. And really, it only took about a half hour until we got in line to that check-in point where you
Okay.
scan your Magic Band with the cast member. So it really wasn't bad at all. They had it moving really well.
You're like the
Um,
lines at Disney. Start at the
I know
airport.
that's exactly what my husband said. He's like, you know what? This just preps you. Like, this is what you're
For
in for.
sure. For sure. And there's a Starbucks right there.
There is. I was like, darn it, I should have got coffee for this long line. And then it was like heavens opened up and there was a Starbucks.
Yay. That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes. Yeah, so if you are headed to the Magical Express and you see that long line, don't panic. It might go quick.
That's good to know. Okay, so
Yeah.
what time did you get to your hotel after you went through Magical Express and everything?
Yeah, so we probably got to the hotel about 12:15.
Okay.
And I did the check-in online, and
Hmm.
I had said my preferences would be near transportation, so near bus or Skyliner.
Okay.
But I had selected that if a room was ready that didn't meet those expectations or preferences, rather, that I would take whatever room. But at this point, I didn't get a text at like 12:15 or so, which
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's okay. We dropped our bags off at Bell Services,
Hmm.
and my very favorite quick service is Primo Piatto at the
Yes.
Riviera. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I like dream of that food when we're not there. So that's one of the perks of staying at Caribbean Beach
Hmm.
is it's walking distance from their lobby to the
Hmm.
Riviera's lobby where Primo Piatto quick service is.
Yeah.
So it's probably like a 5 to 7 minute walk. So we dropped our bag off and had walked over there and gotten lunch. And
That's
we
awesome.
we we did do the mobile ordering.
Hmm.
The last time we were at Disney was May, so you had to mobile order at that time. So we didn't realize that now you could walk up to the counter and order. So we were
Oh,
just
okay.
kind of going back to what we knew,
Yeah.
mobile ordered,
Right.
and it all worked out great. We got the refillable mugs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
those were 50th anniversary. They have like two different designs,
Yeah. Those are
and
cute.
they are cute.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, but like they were like metal or aluminum refillable mugs.
Yeah, they did. Do they not have those anymore?
No, and that's kind of what we were
Oh.
looking for because they keep your drinks really hot, and we had
Hmm.
gotten one last year, and we asked the cast member, like, is it just not here that you have them? And they said, unfortunately, no. Whatever we had, a year ago,
Yeah.
they just sold out of what they had, and it's their understanding that they're not bringing them back.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so and those are kind of neat. So if you have
Hmm.
those, you got a collector or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. What
And
did
I
you guys
asked
get at Primo Piatta?
yeah. So I love their tomato soup. It is so delicious. And I'm not a
Mm.
big like tomato soup. I don't know what made me get it when I did last year, but it was so delicious.
Hmm.
And I got the croque. Mm, it's the
Croque
ham.
Monsieur.
Yes,
Hmm.
you're so good.
Oh
And that's
no.
like a ham and cheese sandwich and the tomato soup. And that meal is just so delicious.
Hmm.
And my husband got a burger with like the garlic herb fries, and he really liked that as well.
Sounds
Um,
wonderful.
it was
Yeah.
so yummy.
Yeah.
So we just kind of sat there and checked wait times. We weren't anticipating on going to a park this day, because we, like I mentioned, have a 3-day park hopper. So
Hmm.
it wasn't our plan to go, but just thought we'd see how things were. And wait times were super low, which I think you guys experienced while you guys were there. Like
Yeah.
everything was really low. So we were really excited about the next couple days we had coming up.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So we had our lunch and got our refillable mugs, and then we walked back to um, Caribbean Beach and got a drink at Banana Cabana, the poolside bar there.
Hmm.
and just kind of relaxed by the pool, and it was getting pretty warm, and I brought a book, so we just hung out and kind of decompressed from the flight.
Mm-hmm.
And waking up early, and then it was approaching 2 o'clock at this point, and I still hadn't gotten a text. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, let's wait till 2 o'clock and let's head up there around 2 if we don't get a text, just in case like I missed something, I didn't do something, or just see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 o'clock came and we walked up there, and the cast member was super, super kind and just said, oh, I have a room ready for you. Um, it's in Aruba, building 56, and Caribbean Beach is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, like, it's probably a pretty decent walk if you're going to walk from here to Aruba, where your building is. So when you claim your bag at both service, just ask them, or they'll offer to give you a ride to your room. And I'm really glad we did that, because
Mm-hmm.
it probably would have been a like 15-ish minute walk
Mm-hmm.
um, with luggage. So we
Right.
were, like I said, in Aruba, building 56.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleasantly surprised to see that it met the preferences that I had selected. It was like perfect location to the Skyliner, the Riviera stop, not
Yes.
Caribbean Beaches stop. Yeah.
Right.
So it was perfect location to that. There was a bus stop right there. So if that's important to you when you're traveling,
Mm-hmm.
Aruba was like the perfect spot.
That is what I've heard. I've never stayed in Aruba, but if I,
Hmm.
when we stay in a Caribbean beach again, that is exactly where I want to stay. Just
Yes,
because
it was perfect.
yeah, the Skyliner's right there, Riviera's right there. Like, even though it's a little bit of a walk
Hmm.
to Port Royale, it's
Hmm.
still,
Hmm.
I mean, like, it's still, I agree. Good location.
Yeah.
Good location.
Yes, exactly. And this was, I don't know if we've been to Disney several times in the past year or so, and it never really stuck out to me that now they put the refillable drink, like the refillable,
The
like
freestyle
fountain.
machines.
Yeah, the freestyle machines in random hotel rooms, or not rooms. I
in the
wish.
in the
Um,
buildings.
in the buildings,
Right.
yes, because when we stayed years and years ago, I remember being like, oh, I would love a drink refill, but it's all the way at the front. So
Yeah.
just something to keep in mind is check your map. They have the freestyle machines located, like there was one in building 55, for example, which was
Hmm.
like a 2-minute walk. So you can
Yeah.
really take advantage of those refillable mugs, if you notice that you have a freestyle machine close to your room.
That is nicer. That's much nicer. It was such a
Yes.
hassle before.
It really was. It
Yeah.
was. It was like, oh man, you got to walk all the way there and back by the time your ice is melted and your drink is warm.
Oh yeah.
So it's a nice
Exactly.
little perk. So pay attention to your map.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip.
Yeah,
Well, tell me
yeah.
about your actual room. Was this your first time staying at Caribbean Beach?
It is not. So we've stayed
Oh, okay.
there. I think this is our third or fourth time.
Okay.
And the room is great. We had a standard view. We didn't need the fifth sleeper, but our room did have the fifth sleeper, which we have utilized about a year ago when we brought our kids with us, and
Mm-hmm.
it is awesome. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're not using it, it can be tucked up and you wouldn't even know
Yeah.
it's there. But when it's time for bed, pull it down and you got like a decent sized bed for a kid or small
Right.
adult.
That is
So we didn't.
nice. Yeah.
It's super nice, yeah. So we obviously didn't need to utilize that, but the room had two queen beds. Um, and one thing that I never noticed before when staying there is the room didn't have a closet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it has, of course, a hanging bar that you can hang things up, but not like a closet where you could throw like your suitcase in or maybe your carry-on luggage to kind
Yeah.
of get it out of the way. So that's just one thing I noticed that I was like, I didn't really
Well,
pick up on that
I
before.
think when they renovated the rooms, they, like you said, they put in the bar with the hangers, and there's like a little place to
Hmm.
like put your shoes and stuff. And
Yes,
they did
yes.
that, and the space under the beds, so you can put your luggage under the
Mm.
beds instead of in an actual closet. I think that's the trade
That,
off.
okay, that would have made perfect. That makes perfect sense then.
Yeah.
I should have definitely checked under the bed, because at first I was like, wow, where did we put this? So if you're listening, check under the bed.
Well, like, I only, and honestly, like we just recently stayed at Bay Lake Tower that doesn't have the space under the beds, and I missed it.
Yeah. Because, when you got bags and you got travel bags and bags for the park,
yes,
it clutters up the tables and there's nowhere for kids to play or snack or whatever. So I totally understand that.
Yeah, for sure. But you like the decor and everything of the room and like how it's set up?
Yeah. So we have also stayed at Coronado Springs recently, and definitely not as updated or fancy as Coronado Springs rooms. Right. But still super cute. It was a great room.
Yeah, good. All right. So after you got all settled into your room, what did you guys do after that?
Yeah, so we headed over to Disney Springs. So we were there, like I said, checked in on October 3rd. So I was kind of interested to go right to World of Disney and see what they had for 50th anniversary merchandise. Mm-hmm. So took the bus over to Disney Springs and went right over to World of Disney. Uh-huh. And it was craziness, as I'm sure everybody has seen on Instagram and like different stories and things. There was lots going on, lots of merchandise. So we did our best to kind of like skim and see what we could see, but we knew that we were just at the beginning of our trip. So we just was like, okay, that was cool. I caught my eye on that. And then my daughter is really into Doc McStuffins right now. Mm-hmm. And her request was a Doc McStuffins souvenir. So I was like, okay, great. I'll be able to find that anywhere. So we walked around World of Disney. They didn't have anything. And then I started thinking like, I don't really recall seeing a lot of Disney Junior stuff.
They don't.
In our past trips. They don't. Mm-mm. So we went over to that little toy store next door to World of Disney. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot less overwhelming in there. And I asked a cast member, do you know where we could find Disney Junior merchandise? And she said, well, if anywhere, it would have been the store that's in Hollywood Studios right outside of like the Disney Junior show. Mm-hmm. But she said that's not open right now, so I'm not sure that you're going to be able to find anything for Disney Junior merchandise. So we were like, oh, darn. Yeah. So I was glad to kind of find that out day one versus like walking into all these stores on the hunt for something that doesn't exist.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that they don't have any of that. But I don't know if it's just because, especially with Doc McStuffins and like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse has just been around for longer. I'm wondering if they just don't.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. We have, so like I said, we have two kids. Our son is 10 and a half. And I remember Doc McStuffins being around when he was young. Yeah. So I know that, she is kind of an older character, but anywho, so I figured somewhere within all the stores, we'll find her something, and we eventually did. So that cast member was super helpful. So we shopped around a bit. The only store we had to wait in a line to get into was the Lego store. Okay. Which was not a long wait, like, just a few minutes, but they did still have that outside queue, just waiting for people to exit before they'd let the next group in. Mm-hmm. And then we had walked over to the other side of Disney Springs, and I just thought, like, I'm just gonna walk up to Gideon's and see, like, what's your virtual wait time right now? And it was 3 hours. Oh. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, I just thought maybe I'd check if we got lucky and heard like an hour or something. So 3 hours is a little bit too long for us after a long travel day. Right. But I just thought I'd check. So if that's important to you, don't follow my lead.
I mean, that line is it's always so long. I mean, for good reason, but still.
Yes, yes. I know. I was like, oh, wow. So
Yeah.
we had just walked around a little bit and shopped around. And then we headed back to the bus because we had a reservation at 7:50 at Sebastian's Bistro back at Caribbean Beach. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we got on the bus and we had loaded on, and the hydraulics, to allow passengers to get on would not raise back up for the cast
Okay.
member that was driving us back. And she was a little bit stressed out, but kept on driving.
Oh man.
So, yeah, we had like a slanted ride back.
Oh no.
I know we felt sorry for her because you could tell she was a little bit stressed out by that. Um, I know I felt so sorry for her, but we made it back safely
That's good. That's
to,
good.
yeah, I felt sorry for her, but we made it back safely to Sebastian's.
Mm-hmm.
We were about 30 minutes early, but I saw on the app that we could check in starting 30 minutes early. So I went ahead and pushed check in. I checked us in and thought, okay, let's go sit by the pool for a bit. It'll probably be a little while. And not 1 or 2 minutes later, did we get a text from Sebastian saying, your
Oh
table's
wow.
ready.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that was awesome. A nice surprise. And we had walked right in, and the girl who checked, the cast member checked us in, her name was Lauren, and she was so sweet. She asked all about where we're from and our trip, and found out it was our anniversary and asked how long.
Mm-hmm.
She was so sweet. So, we had sat down, started looking at the menu, and then she had come back with anniversary buttons or happily ever after buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and wrote 7 years on them. And that was just really sweet. And I felt above and beyond.
Aw.
Yeah. So that just kind of was a sweet moment that we started off our dinner with. And
Nice.
we had never eaten at Sebastian's before,
Uh-huh.
but I've heard great things from you guys, and I was excited to try because of course its location right at our own hotel.
Right.
Um, so it was $29 per adult, which we also felt was a great price for a sit down meal at Disney.
Yeah.
That's all you care to enjoy. So we were like, wow, like you could eat quick service for almost that.
Oh,
So
for
we
sure.
definitely didn't want to, yeah, we didn't want to pass up that. So our server was great. We started off with the pull apart rolls with guava butter and caramelized onion jam,
That
which was
that guava
so,
butter.
oh my gosh, the guava butter was just so good.
So
At
good.
first, it sounds a little bit like, I'm not sure how it's going to go together, but it was so delicious. It was so good.
Yeah. It's
And then they
delicious.
bring out a salad. Yeah, so good. They bring out a salad, and the salad was called a spice necklace salad. So it had a lot of different ingredients that wasn't in it like a traditional tossed salad.
Mm-hmm.
So it had pumpkin seeds, grilled pineapple, oranges, candied walnuts, which were so good. The candied walnuts were amazing. I just wanted a bowl of those.
Yeah.
And the dressing was a key lime dressing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't a huge fan of the dressing just because it was a little bit sour, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a really great salad to try. My husband really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So everything kind of came out in a nice order. We had the bread, salad, and then they brought out the main dish, which they brought it out on two different platters. There was a
Mm-hmm.
protein platter that included citrus chicken, pork, and flank steak.
Yeah.
And the pork came with like a mango salsa. The steak came with mojito relish. And then on the other tray they brought out were the sides. That was cilantro, rice and beans, vegetable curry, and grilled broccolini.
Mm-hmm.
And the vegetable curry was so good, outstanding. I highly
Mm-hmm.
recommend trying it. Even if you don't really think you're into curry, it was fantastic. The rice and beans were good. The
Mm-hmm.
proteins were good. We really enjoyed this meal. And like I said, the server came back and said, would you care to have any more proteins? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you're extra hungry that day, it's a great place to get your money's worth.
Yeah. Did you guys ask for extras? Because I mean, if you know Jared, he of course has to have a lot of meat. But we asked for like I think we asked for like thirds of the steak.
Sure.
It was so good.
It was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. We actually did not ask for extras, which is kind of unlike us, but I think we were so sleepy at that point.
Oh.
And that we were like, oh, I'm just ready for bed. But everything
Yeah.
was delicious. And the restaurant itself is super cute.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me like an updated Cape May vibe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like beachy, and
Yeah.
it's really pretty, really pretty and cute. And they have some of the artwork was like Sebastian was in there, and
Yeah.
it was a really cute. And we didn't order it, but we saw the souvenir glasses for the 50th that were with lemonade with Mickey
Mm-hmm.
head that you could drop in, and there was some people around us that were getting that, and that looked really neat.
Uh-huh.
And then we finished the dinner. They have coconut pineapple bread pudding with caramel sauce and vanilla ice cream.
Yes, they do.
Which was, oh my gosh, so yummy.
So good. I was like, when are you gonna get to the bread pudding? Talk about the bread pudding. So good. I love it.
So good. Yes, we loved it.
Yeah.
So it was, like I said, new to us, and I'm really glad
Mhm.
we tried it.
Yeah, and like you said, the price is reasonable for
For
all that you
sure.
get, and the fact that it's all you can eat, so like you can just keep going if you want.
Yes, yes.
And I feel
I know,
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't think like I don't believe it says that on their website that it's all you can eat. Maybe it does and I missed it, but we were
Oh,
kind
I
of
don't know.
surprised when we sat down that they said that. I was like, oh, look at that. So if you're going in there, make sure you're hungry.
Yeah, for sure. And then oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Um oh, I feel like it's underrated. Like I feel like not a lot of people think about it. You
I
know,
think you're
like
right.
I don't know why. I mean, it's right. I mean, maybe it's just because it's in a resort that maybe isn't always known for like its table service. I don't
Sure,
know if that's the
sure.
reason, but yeah, like I feel like it's a hidden gem.
It really is. Now, me and my husband were talking about this. Do you know if you have kids with you, is it like Ohana where you all get the same meal, or did the kids get a different meal?
You know what? That is a great question. I actually don't know because it was just Jared and I that went.
Okay,
So
okay.
our kids have not done it.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
was just
I'm
curious.
sure. Honestly, I'm sure there is a kids menu. There usually
Yeah,
is with the
yeah,
all you can
yeah,
eat stuff. So
sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was really good. And by that time it was after 8, almost 9. So we decided to head back to the room and go to bed.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Good first
Uh,
day, like a good
yes,
intro day.
it definitely was.
Well,
So
good.
the next day was Monday, October 4th, and we had a full day ahead of us. I told Tyler that my goal for this trip was to have a day, 4 park, 1 day trip.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, that did not happen.
Okay.
but but that was my goal for the day. So we kind of went in like, all right, let's go get them. So we started the day off with Hollywood Studios. So like I said, we were super close to the Skyliner. Hopped on the Skyliner. We let ourselves sleep in a little bit, so we didn't jump on the Skyliner until about 9:45.
Hmm.
Got right off and went right over to, is it Sunset Boulevard where Rock and Roller Coaster is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we got off and headed right to Sunset Boulevard because we knew we wanted to ride Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. And the wait times were a bit long. It was 55 minutes posted for Rock and Roller Coaster, and we waited just about 55 minutes for that one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So not terrible, but a little bit longer than what we were seeing a couple days prior.
Yeah.
And when we were in line, I've learned this tip from fellow trip tailors is mobile order your lunch or your food or whatever you're feeling in line or in advance. So when you
Yes.
are hungry, you can go eat. And we went ahead and followed that, and we ordered backlot. It's express quick service.
Uh huh.
Um, we like to eat there when we're in Hollywood Studios because it's number one, it's most of it is inside air conditioned, and there's lots of seating where we feel like when you go to ABC Commissary, sometimes you're really searching for a table, and we've not had that trouble at Backlot Express.
There is a lot of seating there. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So we kind of always just like default there. And so after we got off Rock and Roller Coaster, we headed over to Backlot Express. And I'm similar to you where I do get motion sick. I think that you might get it a little worse than I.
Yeah.
So I took the non-drowsy Dramamine, which I know isn't the best, but it did work for me for Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it definitely did work. So I think I'm similar to you in that, like when you can't see where you're going, or if it's like a screen, that's like,
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes. And I know you have it a little more severe than I do. So just in case that's something that you deal with, it worked. So.
Well, it's good. That's good. I still use I use all natural patches still.
Oh, yes.
No, I forgot what they're called now. They're off of Amazon, but they're completely all natural. But I do that, and I also will take I'll chop up like a Dramamine, but I'll just use half of it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because if I take a full one and it kicks in, like I'm on something and then it has to work, then I'm like, time for a nap.
Yes. I have made that problem before and just bought like the Dramamine that they sell at, the little kiosks within the park. And it'll knock you down. So I learned that this time. And
well, good. The non-drowsy thing, that's good.
Yeah. So we just had a cool down quick lunch at Backlot Express and took a look at the wait times, and things were still pretty high. Like for all the main attractions there, it was over 60 minutes. And like I said, at this point, I still thought we're going to make it to all 4 parks today. So I was like, let's just breeze through. So we've been really lucky that we have been able to ride both Rise and Resistance and Smuggler's Run several times. So I think Rise was up to 80 minutes, which I know isn't terrible. But we were really lucky that we've rode those a bunch of times. So we thought, well, let's just check back a little bit later and see if they go down to under an hour, and then we'll get in line if so. So we walked through Star Wars and Toy Story. And then my favorite is Tower of Terror. So I wasn't, just like you.
Yes.
So I wasn't gonna pass up the opportunity to ride Tower of Terror. So it was so that was about 12:30 that we headed back around. So did kind of like a full loop around, ended back in Sunset Boulevard around 12:30. Got in line, and it was about 65 minutes posted.
Yikes.
And yeah, it was really long, and we were surprised. And if you've seen the line recently, it's right on Sunset Boulevard, so it's out in the direct sun and no shade. And it felt every minute of what we waited. But when we got into the hotel and we're waiting for the elevator, we noticed they only had 2 elevators running.
Oh, okay.
And did they have 3 or 4? Do you know?
I think they have 3. Is it 3?
Okay, so
I think it's 3. Oh,
okay. Because
don't quote me on that.
We were the same way. My husband thought 4, and I thought 3. So, they were one was definitely down. So they only had 2 running.
Yeah, I think that actually continued on this whole week. I think it's been running with 1 less all week, so it started that day or before. I'm not sure, but
sure. Yeah, so I think that's probably why the lines were a little bit longer for that one, but can't go there without riding.
It's true.
Especially when you don't have kids.
Absolutely.
So we rode that one, and then we headed over to Animal Kingdom around 2:30. So right about right when we got off Tower of Terror, so like a little before 2:30, our park hopper option opened up. right at 2. So at 2,
Mm-hmm.
2:15 or so, we took a bus over to Animal Kingdom,
Okay.
and we walked in and checked the wait times, and we headed for Dinosaur. It was 20 minutes posted,
Okay.
and me and my husband have never rode it before, and
Oh.
I thankfully, because of these groups, I've seen the pictures and people talk about it, so I kind of like prepped him like it's not going to be that good, but I feel like we should ride it.
So what did you think?
So it was exactly how you see these disgusted faces in the pictures is how I felt. Like, what is happening? Why are we bumping around so much? And what it was very odd. But I said
Yeah.
we got like 20, it was a posted 20-minute wait, and we waited 9 minutes. So I was like, we
Oh,
got
okay. Yeah.
10 minutes of air conditioning, if anything.
That's true.
So
That's true.
yeah, and like I said, because I've seen the pictures of little kids on it, our oldest is not super big into like scary rides or roller coasters, and then our youngest probably just became tall enough here recently. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I knew when we've gone with them in the past, this is not something that they would have ever been interested in. So I was like,
Right.
let's just cross it off our Disney list. And I don't know that we'll never go back to that one, but I'm glad we could at least say we tried.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
So we were we were heading over now towards Everest, and we were both like, oh, I could use a drink or a snack. So I said, hey, we should try Nomad Lounge. We've never
Ooh,
went there
yeah.
before. Yeah, yeah. And I know you guys love it, so I was like, oh,
Yes.
we should check it out. So we joined the wait list on my Disney Experience app, and it was said for your party size 45 minutes. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, great, we'll ride Everest. And about 20 minutes later, we got a text.
Oh
Um,
no.
your table's ready. And we were like walking on to Everest, which was posted 20 minutes. I was like, oh, I'm not sure if we're going to make it.
Yeah.
So Everest was posted 20 minutes. We really only waited like about 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of booked it right over to Nomad Lounge. And because it says so just be prepared when you get your text, you have 10 minutes to return to get your
Oh.
table for waitlist. So we were like, all right, let's go. So we ran right over there. As we were running, we saw the kite show going on.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, couldn't stop to watch, but that
Right.
seemed pretty neat. And it had a lot of people like, oh, look, and ran
Yeah.
on over that. So it seemed like it was bringing good crowd and good attention.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So we got to Nomad Lounge and waited just a little bit. They got us an outside table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty neat because you got to see uh, if they're in the water, are they still called cavalcades?
They call them flotillas.
Okay, okay. So it's the perfect location if you are interested in those or you have kids. Like there was some kids at a table next to us that were able to just like run over to the railings
Oh
and
yeah.
wave, and it was really neat to see that. And
And it's like
we
shaded just enough so to
it
where
is
like it's not the
it
sun's
is
not beating on you and it's like yeah, even in the heat of summer, it's still like not too bad.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's how we felt too. Like you really got a good break. Like it,
Mm-hmm.
you weren't blasted with air conditioning, but it was cool. There was a nice breeze. They do a really
Yeah.
good job outside.
Yeah.
Um, so this was the night that we were going to go to the dessert party. So we didn't want to have like a full meal. So what we decided to do at Nomad Lounge was to order a drink and to share a small plate.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to order a drink called Leaping Lizard,
Yeah.
and the our cast member, our server was like, oh, unfortunately, we're out of that. But I would recommend a drink called Lamu Libation.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, yep, yes. Didn't want to spend time looking at the menu anymore. And my husband got like, it's not posted on, it's on their specials menu, so it's not posted online right now, but it was like a watermelon margarita.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my drink was good, but it was very strong.
Okay.
It was it was like two different kinds of rum and then topped with 151 rum. So
Mm-hmm.
it was strong, but it was good. And then
Uh-huh.
my husband, he really liked his. And if you're looking like for a drink just to kind of escape the heat and cool down, his was it had like a slice of watermelon on it, and it was pink and fruity, and it was delicious. So
So
we
so
had
do you
ours.
like fruity drinks more, like sweeter
Yes,
drink? Okay,
yes,
so you're like me.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, exactly. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like the like it this I'm not sure that Lamu libation would be for you if you're like, I love fruity drinks. Like,
Yeah.
I barely want to taste it. And that's what I
Yeah.
was kind of going for with the original drink, but they were out.
Yeah.
Sleeping Lizard was what I was going for.
Right.
So, but it all worked out. I mean, it was good, and it was a nice cool down. We shared, again, we ordered off their specials menu. It was the sliders. So it was 2 sliders and yuca fries.
Yeah.
And the sliders had like some coleslaw and maybe like I think it was like a chipotle aioli or some kind of like hint of spice aioli, and they were delicious.
Yeah.
So good. Like, I
So
was like,
good.
man, we should have each gotten each gotten their own.
Yeah.
So it was 2 sliders and yuca fries, and it was just like the perfect little snack if you're looking for just something to kind of hold you over.
Yeah.
So we really liked it there.
Good.
The atmosphere is nice. They gave us one of like the like couch lounging
Oh, yeah.
booths.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we got to sit there and just kind of relax, and that was really nice. And that left us right outside of Pandora, which is exactly where our next stop was going to be, was to Flight of Passage. And believe it or not, this is the first time we have rode Flight of Passage. Um,
Oh.
yeah, which I know is kind of odd. We were saying like it's weird that this is our first time riding it because we've been to Disney. We go twice a year. So we've been there several times, and for some reason it just hasn't lined up. I know the wait times are like holding steady at like hours and hours and hours there for a few years, and
Right.
with little kids, that's just not happening with potty breaks and snacks.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
So I said, let's do it. Doesn't matter the wait, and we got really lucky that it was a posted 40-minute wait.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. So we've been to Pandora because we've rode Navi River, but never rode Flight of Passage. So we were really, really, really excited, and posted 40. We waited just about 40. We were super impressed with it. I asked Tyler, I said, do you think that we'll be underwhelmed by it now that we've experienced like Star Wars? Do you think that like we'll be like, oh, it wasn't as good? But definitely not. It was awesome. It was so cool. We really liked it. So I was glad that we got to experience that ride finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really good. So we rode Flight of Passage, then went over to Navi. It was a posted 30, and we just waited about 15 minutes.
Oh, see, that's as much as I would wait for that ride.
Yeah, that's how we felt. We were just like, just interesting. So it was like I said, if anything, if you needed to get a couple minutes of air conditioning, there's a couple rides in Animal Kingdom that can offer you that.
For sure.
So we at this point we were like kind of debating like, well, we have our dessert party. You could check in 30 minutes early, so 7:30, and it was about 5:45 at this point. So we were kind of like, oh man, what do we do? Do we run over to Epcot just to say we did 4 in one day? Or do we wait around here a little bit and then just go straight to Magic Kingdom? So ultimately we decided, let's just wait around here a little bit. And we grabbed the 50th anniversary popcorn bucket, the refillable bucket. We were under the impression that the Minnie and Mickey in their 50th anniversary outfits were popcorn, but we later discovered that they're actually sippers, so they're for drinks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were like holding out, like, okay, maybe it'll come out today. Let's wait. Let's not buy the bucket. And then we saw somebody that had it, and I was like, there it is. Right, ready to like run over to this person and be like, where'd you get it? And then we saw it had a straw coming out of it, and then come to find out that's actually a sipper. So
gotcha. You know what?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I thought it was a popcorn bucket too.
Yeah. So we got one of the 50th popcorn buckets, and just kind of sat for a bit and walked
Mm-hmm.
over to the safari, and it was posted 20 minutes. So we're like, okay, we'll ride this and then head back. And something must have been going on with the ride because we were at a standstill in the line for probably had not moving for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we were like, we got to make our, reservation and check in at Magic Kingdom. So we stepped out of line, and the cast member said, "Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on
Hmm.
up there." So she was really kind and was like, "We'll have fun." So
Yeah.
we didn't make that happen, but that's okay. We walked back to the buses and got on a bus to Magic Kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
and we walked through the Emporium just real quick, and it was like just like I said, just like what everybody saw on Instagram, just like people every which way,
Yeah.
grabbing, no rhyme or rhythm to what way we're walking.
Mm-hmm.
So I had stopped a cast member and I said, like, we're not like diehard, like I need XYZ. I was like, I just kind of want to browse. What time do you think we should come? And she said, well, I know it's not super convenient, but during fireworks. And of course, we said, well, we have a dessert party, so we can't make that happen. She said, okay, well, during the day is usually better, or like park closed at 11 that day, but Emporium stayed open till midnight. So
Mm-hmm.
she said, if you can make it happen like after 11 is better. So
Yeah.
we, yeah. So I was like, okay, well, luckily there wasn't anything I felt like we needed.
Yeah.
So we headed over to check in for our dessert party at the Tomorrowland Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
We had, so there's three dessert parties going on. There's before, after, and then treats and seats.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we had treats and seats.
Okay.
So what that meant for us is that we get to check in at 7:30. Fireworks started at 9 and enjoy desserts. We get to stay at Tomorrowland Terrace and watch fireworks
Mm-hmm.
during. So it was a
Okay.
little bit confusing as you walked up Tomorrowland Terrace because, of course, there's people already getting ready for fireworks. But then they had lines, and I was like, well, which line are we in? So there was a line for the after party, there was a line for the before party, and then treats and seats. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you got a before and after party, they took you to a specific area on the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I think is it at the hub?
Yeah, it's like the hub grass or whatever they call it in the little
Okay,
enclosed
yeah.
area. Yeah.
Okay. So they were trying to gather the folks that had those reservations to take them to the designated area, but then we were checking in for treats and seats, so we were like, where do we go? But we found how to get in, and as you're checking in, they do offer alcohol, so if that's something you're interested in, they check your ID and give you a wristband to show that you've been ID'd, and they give you also a wristband for entry.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they do is they take you to a table, which we weren't sure. We were a little bit nervous at check-in because although we got in line at 7:30 and you were able to get, go in at 7:30, we were probably one of the last ones to enter. So
Oh, okay.
we were a little nervous, like, oh man, we're not going to get a great table.
Mm-hmm.
But it all worked out. We got a perfect table right at the outside, like near the rail, looking right at the castle,
Yeah.
and it was perfect. It was a perfect spot to sit at. So we got our seats, and then they, like I said, offer some alcoholic beverages. So they offered a couple selections of beers, wine, champagne. They
Mm-hmm.
had coffee and tea, juices, and I was really excited to see they actually offer pog juice.
Yeah, I saw that. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I was super excited about that. So we got seated and got some desserts. Um, I know I was because we went on the third. I think that the dessert party started on the second. So there wasn't like many teasers or sneak peeks out there from like Disney Food Blog or anything like that out yet. So we didn't really know what we were getting into, but because I've looked into previous dessert parties, I saw they had cheeseburger egg rolls. And I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat my weight. I'm going to eat
Mm-hmm.
so many cheeseburger egg rolls. And they did not have them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna explain how disappointed I was to find that out because
I
those
can
are
imagine.
literally my favorite snacks at Disney World, and I was so
I was
looking forward
thinking
to
of
it.
you.
I totally get how you feel. I totally get
I
it.
was thinking of you. I was like, oh my gosh, because I know you guys have reservations for next month, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's gonna be so bummed. But I'm glad you didn't find out when you already checked in.
I know. I would have been like, do I really want to do this? No.
Yeah,
No,
cancel,
it's
cancel.
fine.
So that was a little bit disappointing. So
Yeah.
they had a few, not an overwhelming selection of desserts. They had a chocolate silk pie bites,
Hmm.
Oreo cheesecake mousse, which tasted like gray stuff.
Okay.
Chocolate covered strawberries, which were, they had like, I don't know how they did it, but like printed on the 50th anniversary logo and the castle. So those were really neat.
Hmm.
They had like push pop cupcakes, donuts with strawberry topping, butterscotch pudding, and then cheese and crackers. So we were a
Yeah.
little bit underwhelmed when we kind of saw the offerings. We paid $129 per person
Hmm.
for adults.
Oh, that's right. The treats and seats one is a little more expensive.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Because you're sitting instead of,
You're sitting.
yeah.
Exactly.
Got it.
So you get
Okay.
to, yeah, you get to stay at your table the whole time.
Hmm.
So we were a bit underwhelmed. We're like, oh man, I kind of thought that it would be a little bit more,
Yeah.
or like we said, I feel like even if they would have just had the cheeseburger egg rolls, it would have just made it like, okay, that was worth it. Like we
Yeah.
got to eat a little bit and got to have dessert. So
Yeah.
just kind of something to keep in mind. The price range of, I know that the before and after parties are a little bit cheaper than 129, which we paid for treats and seats.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I'm
but just
surprised by the lack of savory options. Like
yes,
I would think
yes.
that they would do a little bit more. I know, like you said, cheese, like cheese and crackers and stuff, but
Hmm.
I mean, that's not much. That's a lot of sugar
That's
that late at
Yep.
night.
That's exactly what we said. Like
Yeah.
we just thought it would be something else, not a dessert.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
but the presentation was really nice.
Mhm.
They come and clear your tables for you after you're done. Everything, the service was great.
Good.
The fireworks started, right at 9 o'clock. And I will say, because they are doing projections up and down Main Street for these 50th anniversary fireworks, you're gonna miss out on that if you're at a dessert party. That
Mhm.
is, at least in the seats part.
Okay.
If you choose to stay there, because we could not see anything down Main Street at all. So
Okay.
that was a little bit disappointing because like that's new,
Right.
to the fireworks. And when you're sitting at Tomorrowland Terrace, there's a couple trees like at the hub that we kind of missed a lot of the bottom of the projections. We could
Mhm.
only see like the top of them, but all in all, I don't know that we would do, um, if we had the choice to do it over. I don't know if we would.
Okay.
My husband said he would. He's like, I think that if you're going to do a before party or an after party, it's probably more worth it than treats and seats,
Okay.
because maybe you'll
Okay.
get that better view.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, my previous trip tales, which as we're recording this has not come out yet, um,
okay.
you'll hear you'll hear Anna talk about. She did the one on the 3rd. She did the pre-party.
Mm,
And so
okay. Okay.
I'm comparing notes in my mind
Yeah.
between what she said and what you said. And I gotta say, I think you're right. I think the pre-party or after-party options are a better value.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
exactly what Tyler said. He's like,
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like I said, especially if you got kids that are really,
Mm-hmm.
get that like excitement out of the
Mm-hmm.
projections. Yeah, you're not really
Yeah.
going to see that.
She
from
said
there.
that she couldn't really see it down Main Street that well. Like, I think she saw a little bit from the Hubgrass, but they had a really great view of the castle. So
that's awesome.
She was happy, but again, they didn't have seats like you can. So it's like a trade
Right.
off. You know, what do you
Right.
want?
Exactly. And I noticed, which would make sense. I don't know the price for kids, but we said, like, if you're bringing a family of 4 in there, that's a huge price tag, you know, to watch fireworks in a chair versus, you know, on the grass. So it kind of just depends on what's important to you for this one. But I think for us, I don't know that we'd return back for treats and seats. So
okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. So we hung out because, you know, the mad dash to the buses or to other rides happen as soon as those fireworks end.
I wanted to ask you before you went to further. Do they just, after the fireworks are over, do they just kind of kick you out? Like, see ya, bye.
So that's kind of what we thought. We thought, okay, the after party's going to come in. They're going to come and tell us, okay, wrap it up. You got to go. We got to turn over these tables. But they use the upper level of Tomorrowland Terrace that's kind of completely covered for the before and after parties, where the treats and seats was kind of like on that outer balcony almost.
Okay, so it's 2 different areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you, like, we stayed about 20 minutes after fireworks just to kind of let the crowds disperse. And there were people there after us, but that's kind of what we thought. They were going to be like, okay, we got to get the after party guests in here. You're going to have to, you know, unfortunately leave. So that was kind of nice because we had the opportunity to let people get to where they wanted to go without getting stuck in traffic.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
So did you guys leave right after then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we just went ahead and said, let's go back to the bus, and waiting the 20 minutes was perfect. We got on a bus and were able to head back to the hotel after a pretty long day.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was day 2. And almost did 4 parks. Not quite.
Almost. I know. I was like, did we just go just to say we went? I'm like, I don't think that counts.
All right. And let's go to day 3. We're on the 5th. Yeah, we're on October 5th. So what'd you do on October 5th?
Yeah, so this was our last full day. So this was the day that we were going to use to try to get a Ratatouille boarding group.
Okay.
So we set our alarms for like 6:30 and we're ready to go. This was the first time that we have used My Disney Experience boarding groups where you verify your party prior to getting a boarding group.
Yeah.
And that was so much easier.
Right.
It didn't feel like as much clicking, as much fumbling. It was so much nicer. All you're pushing now is refresh.
Right.
So right at 6:45, we confirmed our party. We're ready to go right at 7. We were lucky enough to get a boarding group. I actually got boarding group 4. So,
wow. Nice.
So I was kind of pleasantly surprised by that. So we got boarding group 4, and one of the nice things too is it'll tell you estimated wait, like 160 minutes or 180 minutes, I think it said, which I really appreciated because I was like, well, do we go back to bed for a bit or what do we do? So the park opened at 9. So they called our boarding group right at 9 o'clock and said they called our boarding group and they called boarding groups 1 to 22.
Okay.
Right at 9 o'clock. So they said you have an hour to return back once your group is called. So we got to Epcot from the Skyliner right about 9:45, and I was expecting a wait like how it was when you would ride Rise, like you still waited like a half hour, 45 minutes, even after checking in. And we got in line and waited 6 minutes, and we're on the ride.
Nice. And this was your first time doing it, right?
Yep. So this is our first time, and it was cute. I won't spoil anything for anybody like you guys, been kind of letting people, get the experience, but it was cute. And I think kids will really enjoy it.
Yeah. My, well, you say your son's 10. How old is your youngest?
Yeah. So she's 4.
Oh, she's going to love it.
Yes, that's what we
Yeah.
kept saying. Like
Yeah.
they the kids are gonna love it. We just kept saying, I can't wait to take the kids back. So kids,
Yeah.
I think, will absolutely enjoy this ride.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and that whole France area back there was super cute.
Mhm.
The creperie had a really long line already at
Oh,
9
gosh.
o'clock. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've listened to your guys' experience with that, so I thought, let's just go ahead and pass on that.
It was an okay experience. Actually, I think we got to try it again because I think when we did it, like it was we were rushed and we wanted
Sure.
to sit inside and have the options that they offer when you do the table service part and like yeah. So I feel like we sullied the name of the La Crêperie when actually it's probably great. We just need to try it again.
Yes, and I always feel like it's never like it's always a lot of pressure to judge something like when they first open. So I was like,
Totally. Yeah.
maybe we'll give it some time. And
Yeah.
I don't really know that Tyler would have really enjoyed the crepes anyway. So I was like,
Yeah.
let's just pass. So
There you go.
we went ahead and thought, let's walk around the worlds, but actually we didn't realize that they didn't open until 11.
Ah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so we were kind of like walking and walking, nothing's open. And our son, our oldest, is really into anime, so we were really excited to go in the Japan store and
Uh-huh.
pick him out something, and that didn't open till 1 that day actually. So
Oh, weird.
um,
Okay.
yeah, we were like, oh wow, 1 is kind of late. So we found that we found a Joffrey's that was open, so we grabbed like a muffin and some coffee and just sat right outside of the American Pavilion or the Americas, that
Mm-hmm.
restaurant there. Found a shady table and sat there for a bit because it kind of changed our plans for the day a little bit now that, things weren't really going to open till 11
Mm-hmm.
um, in that part of Epcot, anyways. So we walked over to check out the new Creation Station store. And that was awesome. I really
Mm-hmm.
liked it there. Nice and spacious, and I felt like things were laid out really well where people weren't like, and it was early in the day yet still.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like you could shop around a little bit and kind of see everything, and it was spacious. So I really liked it there.
Oh yeah, it's so much better than Mouse Gear. The old Mouse Gears was just because the old Mouse
Yes,
Gears was
yes,
so like segmented and it was dark and
yep.
it was crowded, whereas Creation Shop is like bright and
It
colorful
is,
and
it is, it
open.
is.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
much
I
better.
really liked it there. I think they did a great job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we walked through there, checked it out, and they had some really neat Ratatouille merchandise and
Oh, the new
um
stuff, right?
yeah, they had like the big chef's hat,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a really cute remote control Ratatouille that you controlled
That
with
is
the
so
cheese.
funny. Yeah.
Yes, that was so stinking cute.
Yeah.
So we liked looking at all that, just kind of window shopped in there, and then we headed over to the new Club Cool right around the corner.
Uh huh.
And we've never done this before, but I am so thankful I knew what to expect that I wasn't going in like, oh, it's all going to be delicious. Well, for some people it might, but for a lot of people, I realized that not everything you try is going to be a winner.
Right.
So we waited just about 5 minutes for one of the fountain stations to clear out. They do like one party per fountain station.
Mm-hmm.
So once one clears out, cast member will call you up, so you have plenty of time and space to try everything.
Yeah.
Um, and we did Beverly last, and I propped Tyler. I said, I know it's so bad. I don't know what it's about, but it's so bad. And we were both like, how do people drink that?
It is so bitter.
It is so bizarre. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's not something you should be drinking.
I'd love to get someone that has never had it before and just get the reaction. You're just like, ah, that's
Yes,
funny.
yes, yes. And the one, I wish I could remember what it was called, but it was like um sweet and sour, and it tasted like
Yeah.
barbecue sauce.
Yes. Was that the China one? The Chinese one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's supposed to be. They give you like a nice little description above each
Yeah.
of the pops that you're gonna try, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it tastes like barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it totally does. Now that you say that, I didn't get it that first, but when you said barbecue sauce, I was like, oh, that's the China one.
Yes, 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 you're right. So we had a lot of fun in there. It was really
Yeah,
fun. And
yeah.
they had like I really thought it was neat. In the back of Club Pool, they sell like different floats. So you could do like a Coke float or
Oh
orange
yeah.
Fanta or anything like that. So that was kind of neat. Like if you know, wanted to take advantage of that. So we enjoyed that little experience.
Good. And you
So
said there was only about 5 minutes to get in.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
good.
they have you like waiting in a queue outside. Um, and then they have you like kind of lined up inside, just like about five parties or so are lined up inside. And then as people are done with their fountain, you can be called up next.
Yeah. Okay.
So really not bad at all. If you see an outside line, it doesn't necessarily mean that the inside is crowded. I think they just try to do a good job with keeping the space in there because you could do some shopping. Like they have Coke merchandise, and like I said, in the back area, you can pick out, like if you want to do a float or something. So I think they just try to keep it a little more spacious for people who are just there to shop.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we went over to Test Track right after that. It was 40 minutes posted. We waited about 30,
Okay.
which was fun. They had the where you can make your car again, or, and
Yeah.
prototype.
I actually missed that when they took that away.
I'm
So,
sure. I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
nice to
it's
have it
definitely
back.
part of the experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We enjoyed that, and then I did not ride Mission Space, but Tyler went over and rode Mission Space, and it said 10 minutes, and it took him about 20 to come out.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, he came. I've never rode it, and he's rode it before, but I think he kind of forgot, and he was like, "I think you could do it. I think you could do it." And I was like, "I don't think I can." And then he came off, and he's like, "Yeah, you wouldn't have liked it." And I'm like, "I don't think so."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So one thing that was kind of neat as I was sitting just like at a bench right outside of Mission Space waiting for him, there was a family with their two kids, and one of the kiddos was having a little bit of a sad time and crying. And one of the
Oh.
cast members, he was like a cleaning part of the cleaning crew, had walked over to one of the stations and grabbed him like a popcorn, like serving size of popcorn, and brought it over to the family and was like, "Here,
Oh.
buddy, it's okay. You don't have to cry." And his name was Alex. And I just thought that was so, so sweet that,
Oh yeah, because they don't
took the
have
time
to
to do
do
that.
that, and it's just they're
Right.
so nice about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so sweet. So that like really warmed my heart because as a parent, we've all been there and know like
Oh yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
feeling and just that like little encouragement and little helping hand. I thought that was really sweet. So his name was Alex, and that really warmed my heart at that moment.
That's nice.
Yeah. So we right after we finished up that we had a lunch reservation at Space 220.
Okay,
And
so tell me all
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. So I woke up on I think it was September 20th was when reservations for Space 220 opened up.
Oh yeah, I was up. I was
Yep,
trying.
I know I messaged you and I remember being like,
Yes.
"Did you get
Oh, that's
it?"
right. We did have a conversation. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. So I didn't get it, and I remember you said like, "Well, I'm
Mhm.
hoping like, is it Mouse Key Pros? Is that how you
There's
pronounce it?"
Mouse Pros. There's like Mouse Dining. There's touring plans says their own. Yeah, I use Mouse
Okay.
Pros. So
Okay, so what I did was I have never heard of Mosca Pros before you and I had messaged about it,
okay.
and I hadn't gotten the Space 220 reservation. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. I had Mouse Dining
Hmm.
already set up, and that's like $6.99 a month, and they'll,
Hmm.
text you if something comes available. Same concept with Mosca Pros, and it was
Hmm.
interesting because I had both going, so they were both like $6.99. I just thought, well, I'm only gonna pay for a month, and then I'll cancel them.
Yeah.
And I never got alerted for any dining reservations on Mouse Dining, but
Hmm.
I got alerted when reservations were available on Mouse Pros.
Okay.
So,
Proof is in the pudding. So
yeah, yeah. So that was kind of interesting
yeah.
because I got my reservation because Mouse Pros alerted me,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't join from them. So if
Right.
you're trying to decide between one, it kind of seems like that one was a little more responsive. So our reservation
Nice.
for lunch was at 12:50. We checked in at 12:30, and there was a long line outside for um, people waiting or in line for. Is it just the lounge?
Yeah, so you can there's lounge seating and there's also bar seating. So
Okay, okay,
yeah, you can do either one. But there's like a lot of lounge tables that are out
okay,
there. So
okay. So there was quite a long line, and
hmm
we were a little bit confused of where to go. So we asked one of the people in line, "Are you waiting for a table?" And they're like, "No, we've been waiting here for a long time for a lounge table. You're going to want to go up there." So we checked in, and they said, "Okay, go ahead and head inside the restaurant." And there's a really beautiful lobby that has like pictures of space on the wall, and it says like mission to space. And
hmm
um, it kind of reminded me of Coral Reef, that lobby,
Oh
um,
yeah.
where you can't really see anything. And I know you're going to take the space shuttle, so you wouldn't be able to see, but it kind of gave me that vibe where you're not really sure what's coming next.
hmm
Um, and then they called our party, and they gave us a boarding ticket. So that was really neat. They give you a ticket for your space shuttle ride.
hmm
And we were with another party. They took both us and the other party up in the space shuttle, and that was just so crazy to see how you just take off. And it was awesome. It was totally awesome. So you get on your space shuttle ride, and you look down, and it looks like you're blasting off in a spaceship. And then the elevator doors open, and there's another cast member waiting for you that says, "Welcome to space." And it's still at this point, you can't really see what you're headed into. So
Uh-huh.
you're still really excited. And you step off the elevator, and they lead you into the dining room. And it is so crazy because it doesn't look like a TV. Like, I kind of expected to look like you're looking at a TV picture of the world, but it looked three-dimensional. It really looked like a window. So
Oh good.
yeah, and if you've been to Coral Reef, the
hmm
seating is the same, where it's like tiered.
Uh-huh.
So like the lowest, I guess, floor would be closest to the view of Earth. So
Okay. Okay.
we sat down there, and you'll look up, and you'll see like astronauts and
Floating very
space shuttles.
slowly, I hear.
Yeah, yes, very slowly, yes. So the lunch is we really were hoping for dinner because the lunch price is $55.
hmm
Um, and that does include a appetizer, which they called a lift off, and then a main course, which they called star course. But we unfortunately didn't get a dinner, which we were felt lucky enough to even have a lunch. So
Right.
like I said, you start off with a lift off. There's a good variety there. I got the calamari, and Tyler got the Caesar salad. Um, the calamari was not hot, or it was a little bit cold.
Oh.
And yeah, and our server, her name was Gigi, was so kind and could tell, like, of course, because I have a full plate that I'm not, downing, that
Yeah.
something was up. And she was very attentive and was great and was awesome. But it was very good, and Tyler enjoyed his Caesar salad. For the main course, um, I got the roasted range-free chicken, which comes with mashed potatoes and Brussels sprouts,
hmm
and that was fantastic. Very good,
Good.
huge portion. Yes, and then Tyler got the flat iron steak, which he enjoyed too. And I
hmm
would say the best part was truly our server. Like I said, her name was Gigi,
hmm
and she was so attentive, and so kind. And throughout, like, there was this one point in the meal where an astronaut flies by with a space dog, and
Uh,
she's like, "I'm so sorry to interrupt, but this is our space dog," and he's like the fan favorite. So take a look. So that, I thought that was really neat that she like took the
uh,
opportunity to point out him. And
yeah.
yeah, so she
S-
was really sweet.
So does she playing like a part? like she's an astronaut serving? Like is there a story for the servers?
No,
No.
no. So
Okay.
there's not. So like they were like, "Welcome to space,"
Okay.
and she says, "Welcome to space," but it's just kind of traditional
Okay.
server.
I didn't know if there was anything special
Yeah,
about it, but no, I
yeah,
mean, that's fine.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. She was so nice. And for the kids, if you get a non-alcoholic beverage, they get the exclusive collectible cards,
Oh, that's right.
which, yeah, which of course we didn't get, but just something cool to know. We didn't get any cocktails here, but I saw a bunch go by that just looked really neat and really cool, and they're exclusive to Space 220.
Oh, that cotton candy one.
Yes, we saw that go by, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my, look at that! That looks so good."
I think I need to try that one just to
I think you
just to
do.
pour it over there and see like, look how pretty this is.
I think you do. I think you
For
do.
sure.
So that was really neat. It was a really cool experience, and because we were with our kids or without our kids, we kept saying, "Oh, I can't wait to take the kids back here." So
Oh, good.
I think, yeah, it's great for adults and kids. It was really fun. And then once you're done with your meal, you go back down the space elevator, and it's really neat. As you're looking, it like Florida will come into view, and then Epcot will come into view. And
Oh,
when you're
nice.
riding it, yeah, pay really close attention because the details, of course, because it's Disney, the details are there with what you're zooming in on over Epcot. I won't ruin anything, but it's
Okay.
super cool.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so pay attention to the little details in your space elevator ride. So that was really fun. I felt really lucky that we got to experience Space
Okay.
220. So
Sounds cool. Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. So then it was after 2 o'clock, so we could open up for Park Hopper, and we took the monorail over to Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get souvenirs
Mm-hmm.
for the kids, so uh, sorry, we tried to go through the Emporium again, and it was still very busy at 2:30. So we went over to
Mm-hmm.
Pirates, and around 2:45, got on Pirates. It was posted 25-minute wait. We waited all of 5 minutes. So
Enough time to walk through the queue.
that's exactly what we said. Like
Yeah.
it takes that long to walk through. So we waited
Nice.
5 minutes, then headed over to Haunted Mansion, which was between that and, I mean, usually this one and Seven Dwarfs or Mine Train are the longer wait times in the park. And this one was 40 minutes
Okay.
posted. We waited about 30, so
Okay.
not bad at all. Then after that, I had to go get cheeseburger egg rolls because they let me down with the dessert party. So we headed backwards to but got the cheeseburger egg rolls, and I was tempted to try those other ones you really like, the 50th anniversary. Is it pastrami?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because I know I was seeing you post that you love them, and
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, do I take a chance? But I ended up getting, sticking traditional, getting the cheeseburger egg rolls, and my husband went over to the Sunshine Terrace and got an orange Dole Whip,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a table and just kind of sat and relaxed for a bit. We heard the music start playing, and it was the 50th anniversary celebration cavalcade with Minnie and the classic characters, Mickey,
Yeah.
all in their 50th attire, and that was really fun to see.
Yeah, it's so cute. I mean, it's so like, it's just, they took the existing float and just slapped a 50 on it
Yeah,
and put some
yeah,
flags in
yeah.
there, but it's so pretty.
It is. I love their outfits. Oh, her dress. I'm like,
I
oh my
know.
god. They're
I
like,
know.
they picked the perfect colors, the
They
iridescent.
they
Just,
sell
oh
that in the stores, or at least they used to for little girls.
no,
Yeah.
sir. I'm so glad I didn't see that because
Yeah.
my whole entire budget would have been blown out for us.
I don't know if they still have them. I know they were in stock at one point. I don't know if there still are, but I was like, I can't show this to my daughter. She's gonna want it like immediately. So
she would have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we haven't seen that yet.
Yes, I didn't see it either. But like I said, when we would see the big crowds in around the 50th stuff, we kind of passed it up. So it was really cool to see that like you said, it's traditional with what it was, move it, shake it, or whatever they were calling it before. But it was really neat. And we walked over to the new confectionery. And the M&M wall was so cool.
Isn't it?
It was so cool. We were like, holy cow. And then of course, they had 50th merchandise in there, such as like a bag of colorful popcorn, some chocolate covered cookies. And I picked up the chocolate covered cookies. I was like, oh, this would be fun to bring back to the kids. And it was, I think, like 8 or 10, and it was $30. And I was like, ooh, I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah.
So we said, never mind with that. So, and I also just felt like, if I'm going to get something that says 50th, I don't want it to be edible and gone. And then I'm like, what was that souvenir?
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So,
by the way, did you like the way it was redone in there in the confectionery?
I did. I really did. But I think that the popcorn in the far right?
Uh-huh.
That would be easily missed, I think.
Yeah. I think
it's kind of hidden there. And if you don't know, like I knew what it was because I've seen the posts that you can kind of create your own popcorn creation. I don't know that it would catch your eye that you would really know that that's what you get to do there. You know, the opportunity to add some candy and flavoring and things like that. It kind of just looks like a popcorn stand.
Yeah, I agree. It's just kind of tucked back there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a really unique thing. So if you're there, check it out because I thought that was really cool. We didn't end up trying it because we had gotten our collectible reuse or the popcorn bucket where the refills are just a couple bucks. So we didn't do it, but we took a chance to look at all the delicious desserts, and I liked it in there. It was spacious and it wasn't overcrowded. So
much better than before. Man, it was so hard to navigate that store before.
Much better than before. Yeah. Do you guys like it?
Oh yeah. I took the kids in there. I guess it was last Friday. On the 1st, just they wanted a cookie, and I just got to kind of look around, and it was so much better.
You guys got the 50th cookie or is it a brookie?
No, it's not a brookie. It's just a really thick cookie.
Okay. So that I had my eyes on it and I was like, oh, that looks so delicious. Did you guys like it?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. It was a cookie and it was sweet, and so the kids ate it. I mean, I had a bite, but it was just very sugary. So
that's kind of what I thought, and it's always kind of a nice excuse when you have kids that want those type of things because then you get their bite.
Exactly. So we're like, we're good.
Yep, I knew I'd be on the hook for eating a full cookie because I didn't want to spend $6 and not eat it. So
I did want to try, and I didn't see. Well, I didn't actually go looking for them, but the Mickey bars that are dipped.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't see those either. Where are those located?
They're probably, you know what? I actually don't know. I didn't go looking for them. So I didn't even think about it until after I gotten home. But I was like, oh man, I wanted a Mickey bar. But I mean, they're probably just taste like a Mickey bar, but they're pretty.
Yes, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I didn't see anybody eating those, and I didn't see them advertised, so we didn't catch those. But the new confectionery is a great stop. Even like we do a lot of window shopping, and it was just kind of fun to walk around there. And the M&M wall is just really cool to see.
Yeah. If you like the M&M wall, you should go to the M&M store in Disney Springs.
Yes, we did go there.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yes. And one thing that it has there that was really awesome is you can personalize your own M&Ms with like a picture or
Did you guys do that?
I wanted to. I said to Tyler, I'm like, let's do it for our son. Let's get him something. But there was quite a long wait.
Oh, okay.
And we had to make it back. But if you have the time, and it really was not expensive. Like I think the smallest thing was like $12 or $15, and you got like a good amount of M&Ms that were personalized. I mean, that's a really unique souvenir.
Yeah.
So if, you have somebody that's like really hard to buy for, I think that would just really surprise somebody if you brought those back. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah. And then we headed back because we were gonna we had our reservation that night for California Grill 50th anniversary celebration. So we wanted to go back and like shower and get ready. So we took the bus back and we hopped on the bus, and my husband, like I said, we're from Cleveland, had a Cleveland Indians shirt on, and the bus driver said, "Oh, Cleveland, I'm from Cleveland. I'm from Medina." And that's the exact town that we're from.
Oh.
And he said, "Yeah, I went to this school, and that's the exact school our son goes to." So it was so small world.
Sure.
Yeah, so Paul from Medina was our bus driver. I'm like, what are the chances that you hop on a bus and it's somebody from your town?
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. And he was a really nice guy. There was a grandma and her grandson behind us, and he was still really young, like in a stroller, and she was kind of struggling to, get him on and get stroller on, and he was a really great guy. I got off, helped her on, helped her off. So he was really great.
Good.
Oh, and I wanted to mention, I really like to do the cast member shout outs when we come home. For the ones that we've had a really good experience with. And I know that was something they were advertising you could do on the app.
Right.
Now, so we tried it. Have you guys tried it yet?
Yeah. We kind of talked about it a little bit on the show this week.
Okay.
That it's not personalizable. You can't like select somebody's name.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I was thinking. So I was really excited to try. And, I've mentioned a few people that have made our trip a little extra special. And I was like, well, I'm going to fill it out for them. Went to do it for Lauren, the first cast member that we had that first night. And like you probably mentioned on your new show today, that there's no way to personalize it. It says, where did you have a good experience and what was it?
Right.
From a drop down.
I don't know how I feel about it yet. Just the fact that I think like maybe it's just the beginning of what they might be doing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Because, now, of course, I'm going to email and like we were doing before, because some of these cast members just really make sure that they make it magical. So I hope that picks up, because I think that will make it easier for people to, shout out those people who make their trips a little extra special.
Yeah, even if there's just like a little box that says, please write the cast member's name in this box. Like, what?
Exactly.
It's not hard.
Exactly. That's how I felt too. I was like, did I miss something? Was that it?
No, you didn't miss anything, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it was a little bit tough to find. You had to go into the 50th anniversary celebration box, so it didn't really stick out. So maybe take time to send them an email. But so we headed back and we went to like the quiet pool for about 45 minutes and went back and got ready. And we were trying to figure out the best way to get to California Grill. So what we ended up doing was we got on the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. Yeah. And then took a from there.
I was trying to think of like what would be the fast before you even said anything. I was like, what would be the fastest way to get there? Yeah.
And we felt like, we could walk over from Magic Kingdom, blah, blah, blah. But, I feel like any opportunity that you have to ride the Skyliner, it's a lot of fun. And it's cool. So we took advantage of that, and we had a reservation at 7:10, and because fireworks were at 9 the night prior, I thought, oh, we'll miss them or we'll catch the tail end. And when we were seated at our table, we were really lucky. We had a table right near the windows of California Grill.
Oh, nice.
And our server, Jim, came over and said, you have the best seat in the house because you're going to be able to see the fireworks that are at 8 tonight.
Oh.
And we were like, oh my gosh, how did we get so lucky? Because like I said, we thought that they were at 9. So we sat down at our table, and our server, Jim, was awesome. He had been working at Disney, I think he said since 2005. He met his wife there. And he was super knowledgeable in the restaurant and gave us a really nice rundown and his suggestions of the menu. So it's a special menu for the 50th anniversary. And he explained that it's kind of all their favorite or all their best-selling dishes of the last 50 years composed into one more condensed menu.
Okay.
So you're getting like the best of their offerings.
Gotcha.
So you get a souvenir menu to take home. It's in a little booklet that's California Grill, and it's the iridescent colors.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I love that. And the hostess that sat us said, and now hold on to them because I saw somebody on eBay was already selling it for $10.
Oh my goodness.
I know. She was like, seriously. So yeah, so that was an extra little perk that I'm excited to, put away and look back on someday. So
Oh yeah.
this prefix menu, so you get a appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. So we started off with I got the lobster and parsnip bisque, which was amazing.
Okay,
So
so do you have a lot of lobster bisques?
yeah, like if it's on a menu, I try to get it.
I asked that because we have reservations for this in November.
Okay.
And Jared loves lobster bisque. So I'm wondering if he would probably get that, but only if it's good.
So it's very good.
Okay.
My suggestion would be, I did not know, like the parsnips are on top.
Okay.
And I mix them in, and I don't know if I would do that again because they're pretty strong. So if you got like that a bite with a lobster, it kind of took away from it. I know that's really particular, but if he loves lobster bisque, I would say that's the way to go because the actual soup and the lobster was so good. So I think he'll like it.
Okay, good tip. I want to remember that. Okay.
I know that's kind of silly, but
no. That's fine.
Tyler got the braised beef rib wontons, which he loved. Like he inhaled them. He loved them.
Those sound really good.
They looked so good. The server said that they are on I believe he said they're on the current menu, and they're like the #1 seller, and they're really good. So
okay, good.
Yeah, we got those, and I had just gotten iced tea. My husband got two. He got started off with old fashioned cocktails, and it was really neat. It came with one of those huge ice cubes, just like the one single cube ice cube.
That's so fancy.
It is so fancy. I was like, oh my, look at that. So it was so neat. So he got that and he enjoyed it. And actually, one thing I should mention about the iced tea is they brought their homemade classic syrup or simple syrup. They brought to go with the iced tea, and they said it's homemade and it takes, gave me this whole rundown on it. So that was kind of neat. And then for dinner, I had gotten, by Jim's suggestion, the Florida Coast Black Grouper. Now, this wouldn't be something that I would typically order. Like if he wouldn't have convinced me, he said like every bite is different. It's so delicious. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten. He was really, really knowledgeable on the menu. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. And it was so delicious. It was fantastic. He gave me a wonderful suggestion. So if you're feeling a little adventurous, I do like seafood. I don't typically order a fish dish. Like I would probably go more for a shellfish, but it was delicious.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, very good. And Tyler got the oak-fired filet, and his was very good as well.
Is that one of their popular dishes? I feel like I've
Yes, it is. Yes, I think that is one that's on there right now.
Okay. I think I remember seeing it, and I think I remember people getting it, so that's why I asked. But
yes.
it does sound good.
Yeah, he enjoyed it. It was really good. And then the fireworks started about then, and they do like a 5-minute announcement just letting you know fireworks are about to start. And our server did say if you'd like to go out to either balcony, you're more than welcome. You don't have to stay seated here, but we did decide to stay seated since we did have such good seats. And it was really neat to see the fireworks from up there because it just kind of shows you how Disney has their eye on everything, because when you're looking directly down Main Street at the castle, it looks like, well, those fireworks are perfectly right behind it, right by the carousel. And as you watch it from California Grill, you see that that's not the case at all.
Nope. It's so weird, isn't it?
Very weird, because I'm like, it blows your mind. Like, how do I see that way when I'm looking at the castle, but it's not. That was really, really neat to see. And we couldn't see the projections, of course, from there, but the fireworks you could see perfectly, and they pipe in the music or the audio. And they dim the lights. So it was a really cool experience to be up there for that. And I would say about half the restaurant went outside to watch the fireworks.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then it was time for dessert, and Tyler got a menu item called 5 Magical Bites, 50 years in the making. So it's so they've had 5 executive chefs in the past 10 years, or in the past 5 years. It is each chef's favorite dessert that they created while they were the executive chef of California Grill.
Okay.
And he gave us the names of each executive chef and what they made. So it was 5 little sampler tastings. And I thought that was super neat. I'm like, how cool that that's what they did, like to kind of incorporate their cast members. So Tyler loved it. It came with, like, in the middle was a golden chocolate crust that said 50. And I got the chocolate torte, which was very good, very rich, of course. And it was a wonderful experience. Jim, our server, was awesome. He said that, of course, when they were closed, he had to take another job in Kansas City and was away from his family and his kids for a long time. But now that they're getting back on their feet, now that he's back at Disney, and just talked about like how good Disney was to them while they were going through this. And it was just really bittersweet. And, to hear, how much people have overcome over this past year or 2 years.
Right.
So at this point, before dinner, I wanted to go back to Epcot to see Harmonious, and that it was at 9:45. So I was pretty certain that we could swing it. Like, okay, let's try to go back there. But after dinner, we were so full and just pretty tired. So we ended up just going back to the hotel. Now, getting back to our hotel was a little bit trickier than getting to the hotel for a couple reasons. Because number one, Magic Kingdom had just closed, so we didn't really feel like it was the best idea to walk over to Magic Kingdom and catch a bus, because we thought the buses are going to be crazy. And then Hollywood Studios closed at 8, so they weren't running any buses to Hollywood Studios at that point. So the cast member was like, I think your best bet is to probably just take a bus over to Disney Springs and then take a bus home. And that's what we did, because as soon as we walked out the doors of the Contemporary, the bus was there to Disney Springs. So we thought, why not? And while on the bus, we were like, was this the best idea?